Life is sweet. Let it sweep you off your feet.
Hi, this is Allie, and this is Find Your Joy. And I'm very happy to say that today is part 2 with the fabulous, the amazing, the love bomb, which is Cherie Burgess, intuitive healer extraordinaire. Hello, Cherie.
Hello, Allie. So nice to be back.
It's
and
very nice.
Thank you so much for your kind introduction.
Well, you're a person who I have a lot of love and a lot of history with. And it's really nice to have somebody here that I have a lot of history with. I mean, I love meeting new people and I love all of that too, but when I have someone that I have a long history with, who I've watched grow and change and learn and evolve, there's a special way that works for me, because I guess it's, well, first of all, it's not like I made you in the back on a kit that I'm proud of you that way, but I'm proud to call you my friend. It's been really quite a blessing just to watch as you've grown and grown and grown and had so many things that could have taken you out over the years, right? There's been a lot of, you're a person who's intimately known pain and intimately known grief and intimately known what it's like to watch your family suffer. And through all that, I've witnessed as you have chosen to, instead of have that take you out, you have found ways to incorporate love. I would say that's basically, you're a love bomb. And I think that's how I see how your healing works. Like, you've studied different modalities, you've studied many things, and it always comes from a place of love with you. And I've seen how it is with me, but I've seen how you've conducted yourself with absolute strangers. And because it comes from a place of love, how can anything but something beautiful and healing fall from that? So
yeah, that's very true. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, I try very hard to have a non-judgmental space to create a safe place for people, because they do have questions and they do have worries and they want to heal. And some places that we heal from are kind of ugly places, and they're scary places, and they're places that you're not proud of. And we've all gone through that. So to have a safe capsule to be in while you are holding space for someone to heal, because I don't do the healing. They heal themselves. All I am is like a facilitator. And I may ask some questions that allow them to explore where they would like to go and what they would like to do, because it is about my client. It's not about me and you should do this because I said so.
right.
That for me isn't how it works. It's where I meet you wherever you are. And if it gets a little messy, well, it gets a little messy. It's okay. The fact that you don't want to be there anymore is the thing that we need to focus on.
Right.
And how do we get you to where you want to be?
Yeah. That's really beautiful, and here I am, you're talking, and all I can think of is, I didn't think I could love you any more than I already do. And here I am. But that's true. I love that when you say that. When people come to us, they come and they're not, I love that. They often will come in shame or
Yes.
in that pain or embarrassment or whatever it is that they're even in this situation to begin with. And it's true, just you create this little space that they feel free to share whatever it is they need to share, but more importantly, to receive what they need to receive.
Yes, and you're very right. They do come expecting to be judged.
Yeah.
Because we judge ourselves really harshly. So even if they don't think, when they're embarrassed, they they sort of project that you're going to be embarrassed for them, or you're going to judge them, or you're going to think they're not worthy, or whatever it is.
Right.
Because we all have those stories in our heads of like, I'm not a good person, or I yelled at somebody, or things like that. And that's just part of being human. Is being human is messy. So we say things off the top of our heads sometimes when we're angry, or we say something unkind when we're maybe not in a good mood. And our healing is it can be very profound, especially when it comes from a place of, I don't want to be like this anymore. I would like to try something different, right?
Yes. Yes. I just can't be like this anymore. That's
It hurts.
the most, it's painful, and it's such a beautifully sacred space to be in. It doesn't always feel like it when you're there, of course, but it's a beautifully sacred place to be, where you're just, I just can't be like this one more moment and breathe.
Yeah. And that's sometimes what it takes, is to be in so much pain that we can't stay where we are, and we have to, no thanks. And that we have to do something different, because we just can't suffer anymore.
Yes.
That. And it's, when people come for help, they're in a very vulnerable state. They're vulnerable, and they're raw, and they're open, and they're bleeding sometimes. And they just need someone to hold space for them, and to help them. And and as healers, that's what we do. We're all just walking each other home, the best way that we know how. And we're all the same. I mean, I might be 3 steps ahead of you on the path, or you might be 10 steps ahead of me, or there could be 6 people behind. You shine your light to guide those coming behind you, as you hope that those in front of you are shining their light bright enough so that you can stumble along the path to your healing as well.
Right.
And it's a very beautiful, vulnerable, humbling place to be able to assist a fellow traveler along the path.
Right. And I love that. And, on part 1 of this, we talked about, Reiki and angel card reading, and energy work and energy healing, and all of that. And then I was going to say you moved on to, but that would not be the correct way to say that. You incorporated or evolved into some other things that you did. And before we even start talking about the Akashic Records and galvanic activating, I'm just gonna share with our listeners that I'm pretty open with. My background was Christianity, and I still walk that, and for me, it has joined in and incorporated and grown and done whatever, morphed, evolved into that I welcome other things along with that. I feel like I can love Jesus, and I can also believe in these other things, and be fine with that. But I'm going to say that now, when you first started exploring into all of this stuff, and we're friends, and of course you're sharing that with me now. I shared really openly with you when we first did Akashic Records. I was like, I don't know what I think about that. I don't know if I believe in reincarnation. I don't know if I even know if it's okay if I do this. And you said, okay, well, we don't have to do it. And I said, no, it's not that I don't want to do it. I'm just trying to process it all. And you were just so gentle with me and didn't want to disturb anything that I might be holding. Wait, this is a thing I want to keep holding on to. Don't. And I say that because you know what? There's a whole bunch of people just like me who, even in the stuff that I do, it was when I started really studying and being certified in sound therapies and vibrational therapies and energetic healing and all of that. At first, I was a little bit nervous. Now, I can say for my part of it, I was amazed at how well I could blend and see how they worked together, how it wasn't separate. It didn't need to be. I believed previously falsely about being frightened by having anything else join me. Now I'm saying that because I know that some people who listen, they have similar backgrounds. And so I'm just saying that for me, you were so open and so kind and had absolutely no agenda to do anything other than explore, that it was so easy for me to go along and explore with you. So having said that, and now that I've had glorious, absolutely glorious and divine experiences through doing having Akashic Records read through you, and of late the galvanic activations, which I would have thought just, oh, come on, what the heck am I doing? And then there I was praying first. Okay, if there's anything wrong, please make sure that's just honestly where I come from, right? So tell us all, those of us who are, I've had Akashic record readings by you on more than one occasion now, always with beautiful results. And I still cannot say that I fully understand it any more than I would say I understand laying on of hands or prayer or energy work or sound. Any of it it's sometimes beyond our understanding, because it's a beautiful, spiritual, sacred form of healing. I guess I'll just say that and tell us about it. Oh, please. And I'll really listen this time and I'll take notes.
Oh, dear. Well, first, I want to thank you for being the guinea pig for just about anything I've ever. Hey, I got this. I found out about this new thing. Have you got an hour?
Excuse me.
Yeah, and it's, for me, it's about oneness. I mean, we're all souls. We're all entities living. In this case, we're all spirit having a human experience, and sometimes it's not pretty. I mean, we get here, we don't know what we're doing. We have people telling us what we should be doing all around us, and things shape us as we go through life, and we come in contact with different people, and we learn. I mean, once you've come in contact with someone, you can't help but be changed. And you come with a Christian background, and I come with, a Catholic background, and yet we're able to find common ground. Mm-hmm. And we've even continued to find common ground as I have sort of drifted away from that experience and become spiritual in a more natural way, I guess.
I would say that too. And as I do my own thing too. Yes, I get it. Yes.
And I think, there's room for everyone, and the energy work itself transcends all of that. And it's not about that we have to agree 100%. We all want to be good people. We all
Yeah.
want to be loving people. We all want to be kind people. And how we get there, I don't think it really matters, as long as our intention is to be better people today than we were yesterday. And how you get there is how you get there. I mean, we're all just tripping and fumbling and bumping along, trying to find our way.
Yes.
And in terms of like the Akashic record is just an energetic record of your life. In the Bible, they have the book of life. And there's other religions and belief systems that have similar ways of communicating that concept. So it's essentially every thought or every action that you've ever had, a plan that you make before you incarnate on the earth in these wonderful movable meat suits that we get that allow us to experience everything that's here. So there are a lot of things that can happen in our lifetime. And if you don't believe in reincarnation, that's totally fine. If you think this is your first rodeo, that's totally fine. But what I have found doing these sessions for people is that it's much more than what we think it is.
Right.
And there are many more experiences that we have had that we just don't remember when we incarnate. So a lot of people will come and they'll say, I have money issues. I just can't seem to get ahead. I'll just have maybe $300-400 saved, and then my tire, I get a flat tire, and my kid needs new glasses, and there I am, not back at square one, but even in the minus category, and I don't understand what it is. And what I have found is that there can be reasons why that is, and they can be from this lifetime. For an example, it might be just you're driving around town with your parents in the car and you pass the nice section of town with all the big homes, and geez, you hear your mom and dad talking, and dad might say, well, I wouldn't want to be rich like that. You have to be a crook, or you have to be unkind, or, and something like that goes into your psyche, and it lodges itself there. It could be a past life issue where you were maybe in a religious order and you did take a vow of poverty. We don't, when we pass away, those oaths and vows and commitments don't just disappear. They're still there, but we're not necessarily aware of it. So through the Akashic Records, you can find these things out. And you can go back on a timeline that says, hey, this is the thing that I'm having trouble with. Can you take me to the time where this started? And then we can take a look at that and find out that, maybe in another lifetime we were really quite wealthy, but we used that wealth to subjugate and hurt other people. So we might have gotten to a point at some time in that lifetime where we've said, well, I'm never going to do that again. I'm not going to have money. I can't handle this responsibility.
Right.
Now that runs in the background and we're not consciously aware of it. But it's like a background operating system on a computer. It's always doing stuff. We just aren't aware of what it is because we're on Facebook scrolling along. So we can go back to when that happened, and we can take a look at it, and we can ask, what can we do to change this? Some oaths, it's you may see a bowl in front of you, and you may see an oath written on a piece of parchment, and you may just put that in the bowl and have it burn away, and that's how it gets released. There's many different ways of doing that. Or you can just say, I see a contract in front of me and I'm going to mark that complete. Complete, all the lessons have been learned. I no longer have to deal with this again. And and that's how that's dealt with. And I have had clients that have come back and said, hey, we worked on this money thing, and I ended up with a refund check for something that I'd forgotten about. And it was in the mail when I got home that day.
Right.
And you might think, oh yeah, sure, Cherie, that happens. But unless you're open to exploring that kind of thing, you may never find that out. And then you may go your whole life, always being a dollar short and a day late kind of thing. So it's interesting to me that we can deal with that kind of thing. If it's something from this lifetime, we can go back and change that belief so that it doesn't affect you in the same way anymore.
Right.
So yeah, that part's there's healing that you can do in the Akashic Records. I have a friend that does, and we've done together, Reiki and Akashic Records at the same time, where you open up the Akashic Record and you do a Reiki healing while you're in the records. And that can include past life things as well. And it's pretty fantastic. Like, I just find this all fascinating. It's like, I didn't know I could do that. I didn't know that was even a thing, like,
right.
It's very fascinating to me, the different aspects and how we can deal with them using different modalities. Galactic activations are another thing where we, do a bit of a meditation, and then we go up and talk to the Galactic Council, and we can ask for healing, or we can ask for situations to be resolved. And that again is turning it over to somebody who's got more of a bird's eye view. I mean, when you're in the Akashic Records, for example, they're your Akashic record guides. They've been your librarians for lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, and they want the best for you. They want what you want for yourself. And they've got all the information, whereas us as human beings are very limited in what we know. So they will never do anything that you don't want them to do, and they will never do anything that's not for your highest and best good. So that's comforting to a lot of people. And the Galactic Council is something new that I've just learned how to do. But again, they have access to so much knowledge that we don't have access to, and they know exactly what we need because they're part of our team that cheers us on, right? So yeah, that part's been kind of interesting and just another aspect of healing that I never really knew was there until I stumbled upon it and and went, I think I want to learn a little bit about that.
I'll learn a little bit about that. What I've been finding interesting with like Akashic Records, I'd never heard of Akashic Records before you, right? I didn't even know of that. And first of all, it's an ancient thing, not a new thing. So there's that. And then I was amazed at, I think I was the last person to know about it. When I started talking about it, then everyone's like, yeah, everybody else seemed to know about this but me. And I thought, here I go living under a rock again. I didn't know about them. And so basically, if just briefly, just walk us through a little bit about what it looks like. My experiences are my experiences with you, but I think it'll be best if you just say, so a person, you get on a call with a person and you're going to do Akashic Records with them. Just very briefly, what does it kind of look like, and what does a person need to do about that, or what are they going to do with you?
Okay. Well, first off, we're just going to talk a little bit about it. A lot of, like, as you say, a lot of people haven't really heard about it. So you just kind of explain a little bit about what it is. Now, everyone is different. Some people are very visual. Some people just know things. Some people hear things. So when we're discussing the kinds of issues that you want to address during a session, I will sort of get a read on what's kind of required. So we may start off with just a simple grounding exercise. And then I might take you on a meditative guided experience into the Akashic Records. I may just tap into the records and just give you the information that you need. And it'll all depend on who I'm reading for. I'm trying to think. Now, the Akashic Records are essentially just a great big library. So what I will tap into that with a prayer that I do. And then I'll just ask, like sometimes people say, oh, I don't know, just whatever. And so then I'll just ask for them to bring me the book that is most appropriate for today's session. And then we will just, sometimes I can see, sometimes I just know. It kind of depends on the person. Sometimes we're meeting the Akashic guides in the library, and sometimes we're out in nature, and sometimes we're, just where we are. It is, again, it's a very unique and individual process for me. We work with my guides, we work with your guides, and you may need healing, in which case your healer guides will come in and they will do a healing. And then I will tell you, okay, there's Archangel Michael here today, there's Archangel Raphael here today. Archangel Raphael is going to do a healing on your chakra system. Archangel Michael is cutting some cords to a situation that no longer serve you in this lifetime. So again, depending on what you've asked to work with, these things will come up, and we just, I don't know, you get in the roller coaster and it goes where it goes, and we as we process through. But it's a very safe way to explore, and if you're open-minded, things can be quite profound when you've had a reading with a healing, or just to even just understand, why something is the way it is in your life. I worked with one woman that was looking for another committed relationship to be in. Her husband had passed away. And she was, telling me that a lot of the men that come into her life are just basically one-night stands. And that wasn't something that she wanted to be part of or partake in, right? So when we went into the records, we kind of discovered that, her husband had passed away. However, the wedding vows that they had made to each other had not been completed or finished. So energetically, you're a married woman, and you put off energetically married vibes. Much different than the vibes that we put off at 17. Oh, somebody like me. The energy is very different. So when you're putting off married vibes, but you're still engaging with single men, the only thing energetically that you have available to give them is a one-night stand, because you are committed to a relationship, right? So I said to her, would you be willing to, release yourself from your vow? And she said no. And I went, okay. So what else can we do here? Well, there wasn't anything that we could do to change the situation she wanted to change, because what was required was not something that she was prepared to do.
Right.
So, and that's totally fine. It's your session. I don't have a point of view about how it ends. I just want you to get what you want for yourself. So there was that. I've had other sessions where people have declined the offer to be released from what's holding them back, because they're not, they haven't studied it enough, or they're not comfortable letting it go. And it's kind of like I says, do you, when you take the garbage out on garbage day, do you just take the bag out and put it in your bin and then just walk away? Or do you have to stop halfway, open up the garbage bag, and then pick out each individual thing and make sure that's what you want to throw out? And there is no right or wrong. It's just different ways.
How do you do it?
Yeah, different ways of doing things, right? And sometimes people aren't really cognitively aware of that. So when you bring it to their attention, it presents a possibility for them. And they're free to choose that possibility or not.
Right. And when you're saying that, it's as usual, I have 75 things going through my mind. That's how my mind works, right? But I'm like, yes, because bottom line is none of us would ever have a problem if we were able to just pick up or put down everything we should for that would serve us the best. So we all now this is maybe a more what's the word I'm looking for? It's just maybe a clearer picture or a more definitive way of the person actually declining to, because you know what I'm thinking about my own self, right? I'm thinking, well, I say I want to lose weight, but I haven't. So clearly there is something I'm not willing to let go of yet. I just have to, that's, if I say there's one thing, or if I said I wanted to save money, or if I said I wanted to travel to a spot, it doesn't matter what it is. Whatever there is that I have decided that I want, yet I'm not attaining, clearly I am choosing to hold on or to put down, like I'm holding on to something that isn't serving me. And when you're talking about doing the Akashic Records with them and walking them through that, if the person who I'm just would love to hear if there was ever any resolution with the woman with the vows, but there was for a person who says, yeah, no, I'm not ready to do that, which is okay, because I can totally understand that might be really hard to do that, or a person who's not willing to let go of this certain thing, but the way you're doing it, we would be required to actually look at the thing and actually decline letting it go. That's a, how they say it, a whole nother level, like that of a reality check.
Yeah. And there is no right or wrong. Yeah.
Yes.
There is no right or wrong.
Not a right or wrong, but a reality check.
Yeah. And you may not be willing to let that go today, but maybe in a couple months you might be. Maybe you wake up tomorrow morning and go, gosh, I should have done that. Yeah,
well, I think what the invitation is, and that's the word I'm going to use for this, I think the invitation is to take a look at it, because maybe right now I'm not ready or not willing or not able, or fill in whatever word might go there, and that's okay. But even in recognizing or choosing to not do it, that's going to be a shift, because now I'm going to have to walk out the next days or hours, weeks, months, years, even whatever it is, knowing that I chose not to. And that in itself could be the catalyst that creates the desire and the willingness to make that commitment to myself just by doing that. So that's what came to me when you said that how powerful that could be. And maybe even especially for the person who chose not to at that time, because they know they chose not to. And so there's going to be that period of time where they, like you said, wake up the next day or the next week or whatever and go, wait, I should have done this. Well, that's okay. You can do that now.
Yeah, exactly. It's never too late to make another choice.
Right.
Ever. So, and if it doesn't feel right to you, there's a reason why it doesn't feel right to you. And there's maybe something more that you need to explore with that. And then you need the time and space to be able to do that. There are some people that I can't even finish my sentence. They're like, yep,
it's gone.
I'm done. And then there's everything in between. And again, it's your journey, your walk on this path. And I mean, I'll walk with you for a time. and we'll try to do as much as we can. But it's a free will universe. And if you're not ready, then you're not ready. And that's totally okay. We can work on something else. But at least then you're aware that you're attracting what you're attracting because of that.
Right.
And, and then maybe it's then easier to take too. Like, oh, okay, well, here I am with no money again because I didn't want to get rid of that vow.
Right.
And then at some point you have to evaluate, like, how's that working for you, honey? Like,
Yes, that's right.
Are you ready to change that yet? And if you're not, that's okay too. And if you are, well, you know where I am. So
exactly. And then at one point, the fear of change is outweighed by the fear of not changing.
Yeah.
I mean, basically that's kind of, as a girl who has not always been a fan of change, say it isn't so. But I can see that how that can work, and it's really amazing. And here's another thing I'm going to say, because we're getting again close to the end of our time here. What's amazing when someone contacts you, when I contact you, and Lord knows I do that quite often, but when someone contacts you, it's sort of like, if you come to, I'm going to say this. I have a person that I've dealt with for many years, and his education, he was a pharmacist. We're talking Cherie now, right? Pharmacist. Yep. Who was trained in homeopathic medicine and also Chinese medicine. And then he went on to get his PhD in restorative medicine. So when you went to go see that person, it doesn't matter which of those modalities you went to see, you automatically got all of that. So if I went to him for a homeopathic thing, I also had the restorative medicine guy and the Chinese medicine guy and the pharmacist. I was seeing all those people because he had all of those. Why I'm saying this is that when someone comes to see you, whether that's in person, or mostly these days it's going to be through Zoom or whatever else that they use to contact you through, when they come to see you, they're saying, you are automatically, if they come for Akashic Records, you're still the Reiki person, and you're still the energetic healer, and you're still the angel card reader, and you're still the access consciousness, Mars and body process, and you're still the galactic activation person. Like, you have all those things. So when we study many things, what's wonderful about that is that's just now how we process and how we see the world. So what I'm going to really encourage people is that whatever it is that you might be curious about, or healing you want in your area, or in your lives, or certain areas that you would like to get more information or healing from, this is why someone who is like you, a curious person never is really satisfied with taking that one course and doing that one thing, because you're always going to be reading and studying and learning and expanding and evolving. So I would really recommend to people, again, there's going to be lots of ways I'm going to be sharing with you of how to contact Cherie, and whether that's through Facebook or whatever ways that we're going to have here for you to contact her. To remember that's one of the things that you bring with you to any session that you're having with a client, is if they're going to do an angel card reading, you're still going to have all those other things that you're bringing. That's what makes you so fabulous, my darling.
Yeah, once you know, you can't not know.
Yes.
But if you do come to me for a Reiki session, you're going to get a Reiki session.
Right.
If you do come to me to have your bars run, you're going to get your bars run. It's all what the client desires, right?
Oh, okay. So thank you for that. Thank you for that clarification. I guess what I was thinking is you have that knowledge with you, but you're not going to cross over in what you're doing without their permission or their request. Got it.
Yeah.
Because we know that I had that experience once, right?
Yeah.
I was having a massage, and in the middle of the massage, I didn't even know anything about, this was many years ago. I didn't know anything. I just felt energetically a shift. And after the session, I said to her at this certain time, something happened, something changed. And she smiled. She was very proud of herself. She said, yes, I started to do Reiki on you. And I was quite taken back. You didn't ask me permission. You never said anything to me. You just switched what was happening. I felt something different because I'm a sensitive little monkey, but so thank you for that clarification. That's important. Thank you for that. And my apologies if I misspoke. I guess what I was thinking was that you bring all of this knowledge, but that doesn't mean that you are going to just start sliding in between the two and just do whatever you want with the person.
No, if I'm getting information, for example, if I'm doing a card reading, and I'll say, Archangel Raphael has just showed up and he's asking to recalibrate your chakras, for example. Would that be okay? Because it's your session. You've decided that that's what you want, and it's not up to me to not give you what you've asked for. I always feel that, I'll give you the option, because I can't stop. When they show up, and all I can do is say, hey, we got company. Right. He'd like to know, or they'd like to do this. Like, are you okay with that?
Right.
And if you're okay with that, great. And if you're not, then I'll just say, I'm sorry, you're going to have to come back another time, because it's not okay. And there are some people that don't respect those boundaries, but I'm not one of them. Right. It's your session. When I go and I purchase an orange, I don't want to peel it and see an apple. Like that, right. that doesn't make sense to me. So it's
and
your
the store
session.
Says, but apples are nice.
Yeah, they are, but not when I'm expecting an orange.
Yes, no, that's great. And I'm very grateful that you clarified, because I didn't. Yeah, that's beautiful, and that's once again who you are.
Yeah.
God, I love you. I really love you, man.
Me too, man.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much again for sharing the wonder that is you, and a little bit more about the things that you do and that you've explored, and what you have to offer people. I really appreciate you, and I appreciate your time.
I appreciate you, and I'm so grateful that you asked me.
Yay.
I love talking to you.
I know, it's so fun. Oh my gosh. Well, again, this is Allie. This is Find Your Joy. There will be ways, I will have in the show notes, I'll have ways that you can contact Cherie for yourself, and get one or all of her of the magical, wonderful things that she does. For now, thanks very much. Be well, and know that you are loved. Take good care. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you found a piece of your joy in this episode, I would love to hear about what came up for you, so that we can continue to grow the impact of this show. Thanks again. See you soon. And remember, find your joy.